Here we are, Math Day 75. It's actually St. Patrick's Day. I was hoping for a St. Patrick's Day poem, but we have peeping chicks here. This is called Shell Game. The sun is rising on the farm. Cows are stirring in the barn. The pigs are rolling in the muck. In the coop the chickens cluck. How many chicks have hatched today? Try and find a clever way to quickly count this chirping batch. Subtract the one that's yet to hatch. We have 3 rows of 3. 3, 6, 9. Only one hasn't hatched, so 9 minus 1 is 8. And if you listen carefully, you can hear the peeping chicks. Maybe this is the one that's going to hatch later. Here's one of our baby chicks. This one is a meat chick. It is not going to lay eggs. And one of the chicks that's left behind is chirping loudly for their friend to come back. They don't like being left apart. Treasure Map by Stuart J. Murphy, illustrated by Tricia Tussa. Treasure Map. Look what I found, yelled Matthew as he raced into the clubhouse. The members of the Elm Street Kids Club all watched as he unrolled a big piece of paper. It's a treasure map, said Matthew. Treasure map, repeated Petey, Meg's pet parrot, as everyone crowded closer to see. Here's the noisy chick. He's going, treasure map. This one is only a few days old. It was born last Sunday, and today is Friday. This will be, hopefully, a hen that will lay us some eggs. Wow, buried treasure, said Danny. That X must be where it's buried. Look at the date, said Matthew. It's more than 50 years old. It says, start here, said Sherry, and the arrow is pointing to Elm Street and First Avenue. That's our corner. It looks like that treasure is buried somewhere in that new Wonderland Park, said Meg. Let's go. I'll bring a shovel, said Jed, just in case we find the buried treasure. They raced to the corner. Then Matthew read, clue number 1. From Elm Street, walk down first toward Rocky River. At the next corner, Oak Street, turn left. Rocky River's down that way, Jed said, pointing. Let's go. Let's go, squawked Petey. They turned on first and marched towards Oak Street. Jed led the way. Sherry put on her baseball cap and jumped behind Jed. Danny followed, rubbing a new penny for good luck, and Meg shoved her comic book into her pocket and joined them. And Meg hurried behind, and Matt hurried behind with the map. When they got to the corner of Oak Street and First Avenue, they turned left. Here we are, said Jed, at Wonderland Park. What next? Clue number 2. Now keep walking about 125 giant steps until you come to a dirt path on the right that leads to the park. Matthew read the clue. Gosh, that's a lot of steps. Lot of steps, said Petey. 125 is a lot of steps. And this is where you have to count by ones to get there. It's going to take a long time. They counted 125 giant steps and looked at the right. There's no dirt path, but there's a big sidewalk, and it does lead to the park. Looks like it's in the right place, said Jed, pointing to the map. Maybe it was a dirt path 50 years ago. We're getting closer, said Jed. What do we do now? Matthew read clue number 3. Walk up the path through a pine grove and continue to the top of the hill where you'll find a big oak tree. Stuart looked at the map. Well, it looks like it's twice as far as from the corner to the sidewalk. That would make it 250 steps, all uphill. We can do it, said Jed. We can do it, said Petey. When Jed counted off 250 giant steps, they passed through a group of pine trees and reached the top of the hill. I don't see any big trees here, said Danny as he sat down on an old stump. Me neither, said Jed, and he picked up a newspaper from the ground and fanned himself. Wait a minute, said Sherry. That stump was once a big tree. This could be the place after all. Matthew looked at the map. I think Sherry's right. Okay, said Jed. Now what? Matthew read, clue number 4. Cross Rocky River where you see a great big rock. Nearby, look for a flat rock with a big X on it. X marks the spot. They started walking to the river, and pretty soon they came to a big moss-covered rock. This must be it, said Matthew, looking at the map. Everyone started looking for a rock with an X on it. Everyone except Patsy. She just plopped herself down for a rest. Come on, Patsy, you can't stop now. She clapped her hands loudly behind her back. Petey jumped, and there it was. He had been sitting on the flat rock, and Meg noticed a big X carved onto the top. Petey found it, Meg hollered, and Petey ruffled his feathers proudly. Jed could hardly wait. He grabbed the shovel and started digging. Pretty soon they hit something that sounded like metal. Jed reached in and carefully removed a flat metal box from the hole. It had been taped shut. He pulled off the tape and pried the cover. Wow, look at the cool old stuff. It's a time capsule from another kids' club from a long time ago. Rocky River Rascals, July 1950. When they had finished looking at everything, Sherry said, Now what do we do? I know, let's put it back for someone else to find. Maybe we could add some stuff of our own and make our own time capsule. Good idea. Great idea. Great idea, said Petey. I'll put in my lucky penny. It's got this year's date on it. And I'll add my baseball cap. Well, whoever could find it might like my comic book. And I'll add this newspaper. It's all of today's news in it. Matthew pulled out a picture of the group that he had carried in his pocket. He wrote, Elm Street Kids Club, and the date on the back, and tossed it in. Petey grabbed a loose tail feather with his beak and put it in on top. Jed closed the box and put it back in the hole. He covered dirt and moistened the X with the X back, put the rock with the X back on top. As they started back to the clubhouse to hide the map, Petey squawked, X marks the spot! X marks the spot! River Rascals Reunion. Won't they be surprised when they dig it up and see somebody else found their spot? Treasure map.